I actually learned quite a lot with Goofy's field trip ships. This is the second Goofy's field trips I've watched. The other one was trains. Really enjoyed it, but I am quite knowledgeable about trains. I'm not an expert at all, but I enjoy watching things about trains. I find them really fascinating. Ships, on the other hand, I've been on two big ships in my life, and honestly, that's enough for me. I'm one of those people who I'm not terrified of ships. I can go on a ship, I can go on a boat, but if there's an option to fly, I will always choose to fly because I'm kind of scared of the water. So this for me was really fascinating to watch because I did learn pretty much something in every area of the ship that we went to. It's very similar to trains, wherein Goofy meets these children, and together with people who work on the ship, they go around and learn about the different aspects of this cruise ship. And honestly, I was really surprised to learn that there were, in this particular ship, 500 crew members and about 1,500 passengers. Like that ratio is not something I would have expected. Obviously, when you think about it, it makes sense. The crew members include, the kitchen staff and cleaning staff. It's not just, the captain and a couple of other people here and there, but that's a lot of people. That's incredible. And we got to see bits of the ship that I've never even thought about. For example, we look in the engine room. And while I don't actually think that ships are just based on wind power with a little steering wheel. In my mind, when I think of ships, that's all I see because I don't know the workings of ships. Well, now I do. But even though obviously deep down I knew that's not exactly how they're powered, I never for a second imagined that the workings of the engine would be this vast. Now, I don't know if ships today, because bearing in mind this was actually released in 1989, I don't know if ships today would have bigger engine rooms because they're more powerful, or smaller engine rooms because technology is a lot more compact. If anybody knows that, please feel free to let me know. But certainly, either way, I was blown away by the scale of this, and it's just so fascinating. It didn't make me want to go on a ship. With trains, I did want to go on a train straight away. I like train travel. It didn't quite make me get over my fear. And it's not a phobia, definitely not a phobia, but it didn't make me get over my nausea that I feel when I think of going on ships. But it did teach me a lot, and I feel like it gave a great look at how vast ships are and just what is involved in maintaining them. And if anybody watching it is going on a cruise, if they're going on holiday on a ship, or even if they're just traveling on a ship for any other reason, I think it can be really educational and help children to learn about what to expect. It's a very different experience for me with trains because, for example, when I was watching trains, I kind of thought, but everybody knows what trains are like because obviously they're a really common method of transport. Whereas this one, I think it's quite reasonable that a lot of people watching it, particularly young children, won't actually know what it's like on board a ship. And honestly, I will admit, until I went on a ship, I don't think I could fully comprehend just how vast these things are. And the ships I've been on, we're not talking cruise liners, they're not these gigantic things. It just blows my mind, and this definitely is informative, educational, very well done. I think the pacing is great. We don't spend too much time in each room that it starts to drag, but enough time that we get a good sense of what the space is like. There are a lot of nautical terms, some of which I knew, like knots and starboard. Some of them wasn't that familiar with. I think it's really very, very well done. I don't know how many Goofy's field trips there are. I know there's at least one other. Hopefully a couple more because I think they're pretty awesome. Obviously having the live action Goofy there is a really nice touch and it works really well. But just the idea of live action Goofy walking through the engine of a ship is it's quite baffling. But actually it works. It works really well. It's directed by David Massar, written by Massar and Jacqueline Hirtz. And whether you know anything about ships or not, I thoroughly recommend you check it out because it's very well put together. It's very well edited. The information is clear. It's easy to follow. As I said, I learned quite a bit about ships. So I rather enjoyed it. If you have 15 minutes to spare, definitely worth checking out.